Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with Sean Collinsgru from Premier Outdoor Living. Sean is based in New Jersey in the United States. And not only is he a deck and patio builder, does a bit of landscaping as well, but he's also very successful in social media. So he's got about 80,000 followers on Instagram, almost 200,000 on YouTube, and about 150,000 on TikTok. And he's also got a podcast, which is about 16 episodes into, which is the Hardworking Happy Hour podcast. So it's interesting seeing how someone being successful on all three platforms, as well as doing the work really well that he does. So he does some pretty high-end work, and he's booked out for 12 months ahead. So it's good to see someone doing so well, and it's great that he can come on and share the way he goes about things. A couple of the highlights I found from talking to him were similar to a lot of people. He started out by making it up as he goes in landscaping. So he started out with the lawn mowing route and then did a bit of landscaping, and then he progressed from there. So, and he also mentions how he's continually wanting to improve. So him and his employees are always looking for better ways of doing things and going the extra mile. So the work he does isn't just the standard kind of deck or patio. So he doesn't just use the same material over a large area. He'll break it up into different materials and or different colors of materials. So it makes it more interesting, and he's always pushing the boundaries. So there's plenty of, hopefully enjoy this chat with Sean, and also it's well worth giving him a follow on one of the platforms to see the work that he does. It's pretty impressive stuff. So here's Sean Collinsgru. Sean, thank you very much for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. So normally the first question I've got is asking you how you started in the industry, but because I'm aware that you're a Philadelphia fan in the American sports, and I'm a big American sports fan, just wanted to ask how you think about Aaron Sipos and Jordan Mailata, a couple of Australians on the team.
Yeah, Jordan Mailata is unbelievable. I mean, I think that's probably like the coolest story that you could possibly have. Like getting drafted, the guy is an absolute beast. I've watched all of his rugby highlights. It's like almost unfair. He's like 6'10", 350 pounds, and he's fast. So it's crazy. And took him like a couple years to teach him how to play football, and now he's like one of the best in the league. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool story. Yeah. Yep.
And he was on the Masked Singer as well.
Was he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, on your version of it. So
really? Yeah, that's I'm sure he's getting a bigger payday here than he would playing rugby. So
it's crazy. Like the most expensive, but the best players get $1 million a year in rugby. So he's on a lot more.
Hey, still not too bad. I'd take that. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. I also wanted to let you know that most Australians aren't a fan of Ben Simmons either, because he left us high and dry in the Olympics. So, yeah.
He's he can. I don't know if he's ever going to play again. He's going to keep coming up with excuses, and especially people in this industry, we get out there and we don't feel like working a lot of times, and we ain't making whatever $35-40 million a year. So
it's wild.
I got no sympathy for him.
But this is the Landscaping Podcast, so I probably should ask. So how did you start in the industry?
So I started out. Now we're doing like full backyard remodels. That's kind of what we specialize in. But I started out probably about 10 years ago now, and was just going to college. You probably call it university over there, but just kind of finding my way, and fell into doing some landscaping. A friend of mine had a landscaping company, so I'd cut grass and do all that kind of stuff, and just jumped into having my own business only because it was like a really low point of entry. So I used my dad's pickup truck, used our family push mower, bought a weed whacker and a leaf blower, and just kind of got started. So that was like, at the time, the most money that I could make with really the options that I had at that point. So it was like, okay, I can load this stuff up in the truck, go cut 10 lawns today and make a couple $100. So that's kind of how it started. It really wasn't anything more thought out than that. It was just get out there and hustle and try to make some money. And Did that for a couple years, bought a little bit better equipment, got a trailer with like a riding mower, and was doing maybe, I think at most about 45 lawns a week, and then we do cleanups and stuff like that. And I just kind of fell into a project where there was a deck and a patio, and I kind of talked my way into it and said, "Yeah, we can totally do that." And just kind of figured it out as I went. My dad does own a construction company, so um, he's somebody I can like lean on for questions or anything if I do have stuff that comes up. So I did have like a little bit of a safety net, but I just figured, hey, it's not that complicated. I think I can figure this out. Do a lot of research and take my time, and I just had a lot of fun doing that project. It was really creative and it ended up being a really cool project. So immediately after that project, I sold all of my lawn equipment, gave away all of my lawn service customers, and just kind of jumped into like the construction end of it with almost no experience and no prospects for work. I just bought a house. It was probably a horrible idea at the time, but um, it just felt right, and I was like really passionate about it. It got me excited. So that was like 7 years ago now.
What name did you go with at the start?
So I started out with Greener. First, it was Greener Landscape and Lawn Care, and the slogan was "Keep your lawn and your wallet a whole lot greener," and that lasted. That was pretty short because I realized that attracted really cheap people, and it was not like a sustainable a sustainable model, trying to be cheaper than everybody. So then it was Greener Outdoor Living, and we did like some fences and stuff. And then after that one deck and patio project, we completely changed the business into Premier Outdoor Living, and from then on we just focused on like the construction and design aspect of it.
So what would you think about looking at that first project that you did now? Like, do you laugh at it, or is it not too bad?
It was a really cool design. So the project turned out really cool. The functionality of it is something that like wasn't super well thought out. Like now that's something that I really try to focus on, try to like have it look really cool and be high on design, but also create a space that really serves the customer well, and it's really functional, it flows. So there's definitely things like that I look at and I'm like, this could have been, I mean, everything could have been different about the layout and everything like that, and the size of certain parts of it, but the overall design and the details were actually pretty cool. It's a lot different of a style than we're doing now, but it's still, I still look back at the pictures. I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool.
And the projects that you're doing now seem like you're just doing basically the decks and the patios, not so much as much of the other landscaping around it. Was there a time when you were doing the whole lot and then you've dialed that back a bit?
So we're still doing everything that our project entails is all us. So we do pretty much every project is a deck, a patio. A lot of them now have roof structures, and they're almost like turning into additions now. And then we do the landscaping and lighting as well. So we try not to get too heavy into the landscaping, but we always do all the landscaping around the project. So usually we're doing like some edge block around the garden beds, hedges and perennials and annuals, just like around the project. So we don't want to do like the whole backyard, but we want to make sure that like everything that we're building, it looks like it's finished, and we can take that final picture and it's done. And so yeah, we don't really give that as an option to our clients. It's like, this is your budget, and there's going to be a portion for landscaping, at least around the project. You can add stuff later, but we're going to do something so that what we do looks like it's finished.
Yeah. Yeah, there's every now and then where we did just a deck back in the day and didn't do anything else around it. And yeah, like the deck looks amazing. But then you just got all this dirt and everything around it. So there's no point posting that one. So what about in terms of the design? Did you just learn that on the job as you go?
Yeah, I think that is the part that came a little bit more natural to me. I've always been into creative stuff and just had that interest. So that's the part that came a little bit more natural, just with coming up with designs and different like patterns and stuff. I definitely still look at myself as like just starting to like learn it, and I'm getting better all the time. So I had like a little bit more of an inclination towards that side, but stuff like just how big certain spaces need to be. I think it takes a while, no matter how inclined you are towards that design stuff. You have to build a certain amount of projects to really see like the little parts that can be traffic jams or can kind of bind people up. So I'm still learning all the time with the design stuff, but that I think did come a little bit more natural to me than the construction stuff. So I started out with the design. That's the part that I really, really was passionate about and I loved. And just because it was just me and I had one employee when I started. So it was just us two. And I was like, okay, I guess I have to figure out how to build this stuff because if I don't do it, nobody else is. So yeah, that's I'd say the design was a little bit more of a thing that was natural to me.
Yeah, and I think also not just it doesn't matter how many designs you do, but actually experiencing something like that makes it so much easier. So then when you go to like a place where there's a nice deck or patio, while you're walking in it, then that is sort of subconsciously think, oh, this doesn't work or this works. So then you do designing that. So it doesn't matter how many you design if you don't know how they're being used, then you're not learning from them.
Yeah, and I think there's so much. I mean, our projects are getting so much different. We're adding different elements. Like now we're doing a lot of roof structures. So there's always like just so much more to learn. And like you said, either subconsciously or fully consciously, like anywhere I go, it's like, this is pretty cool to have like this big fire pit area where 20 people could sit around it. Like, wow, this is pretty cool. And you do just pick up little things like that. And I think what turns a regular design into a really, really phenomenal design is just like a collection of all of those little details. So we're constantly learning like new things that, okay, next time we do this, we'll do this a little bit different because it's going to be a little bit better. And I look at our projects 7 years ago, and I think that we're still getting better. So that's a good sign, but there's always so much more to learn. And as far as like a build company, I think we're like just getting started on what we can do. So it's all about just learning as you go. I think you always have to have that mentality.
Yeah, something you said then is exactly what I say to my guys. Like every job we do, there's something you think, oh yeah, we could have done this a little bit different. Like what you've done, it's okay, but you can do it better.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some people just, there's different levels of landscapers and deck builders. So others are happy to do it at that level, just keep doing it. But yeah, other people who want to keep improving, then you just make little tweaks along the way to learn something on each job.
Yeah, that's what I think motivates me is, I think a lot of people, I mean, people have different goals. So some people they just want to do it so that they can make money to support their family and then do other hobbies. But for me, this is like, I'm so passionate about it that I just want to get a little bit better and I want to keep pushing ourselves. And I mean, you can just look online and see all of this amazing stuff that people are building all over the world. And it's like, we have so much further to go. There's so much more that we could do. So why not try to, just get a little bit better and push ourselves as much as we can. So I think that's what makes it worth it and makes it fun and interesting. So we try to always have that mentality of keep pushing it and see how we can get better.
Yeah. It's good that you can actually enjoy what you do for a job too.
Yeah.
When I had a look on your website, and you've booked out for all this year already. So when did things start to
Yeah.
go crazy for you?
So for the past 2 years, I think we've been working year round. So I used to take the winters off. Now that I have more employees, it's still only 5 of us total. So not a big company by any means, but once I got over like 2 employees, because everybody's on salary, I would pay them for 6 to 8 weeks in the winter when we were off. Now that's a little bit harder to do with, 4 people, salaries, more qualified people that are earning more. So the last 2 years we've been working straight through the winter. So for us, there's busy times, I guess, when we're getting more emails and inquiries, but we already booked out the season back in probably November. So we just kind of like put that aside. And especially me, I don't look at the inquiries that come in. Catherine handles all that, because I'll start to, I'll read the emails and get like a little bit excited and be like, oh wow, this one sounds so cool. We could probably squeeze this in somewhere. And we really can't. We can't do that. So I'm just like, you create a wait list, like screen the people a little bit, make sure they're in our area, they know what we do. And she handles all that, so I don't even see it. And we just kind of do what we can all year. Now it's getting to the point where the weather's getting a little bit better, it's getting warmer, so we should be able to be more productive than throughout the winter. But it's pretty steady for us year round.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a guest I had on a couple of weeks ago, Ian Barker. He said that he'd be telling people he's not taking on any more jobs because he's booked out too far. But then you see one come through that gets excited about and said, "Oh, yeah, we've got time for that one."
Yeah, exactly. If I'm in charge of it, and people say the right things, like, "Oh, we love your designs. We want you to just do whatever you want." I'm like, I get too excited about it, so I don't even look in that inbox.
That's smart. So when did you start to build up that profile? Was it from doing the social media, or was it from doing just doing good work and then referrals?
Yeah, it was I would say 90% through social media. So we started with the social media initially just because it was really like the only competitive advantage I thought that I had in the beginning, because most of the companies around me, and there's some really, really good design build companies in my area. So the only thing I felt like I really had maybe an advantage on was being younger than them when I started out. So I really latched onto social media. And I also felt like I wanted to do these really custom projects and like really be creative. So I felt like if I just selected projects in the beginning that fit that mold, it didn't necessarily matter how much I was making off of it, but then I could take those pictures and create a really, really awesome looking website and social media posts. And even though initially I wasn't making any money, I could present this kind of brand online where it looked like, wow, they really have their stuff together. They look really well established. And we weren't, but I knew that as long as we got those pictures, we could tell whatever story we wanted. So I didn't make any money for a while, and no significant money for the first like year and a half. But I knew that if I just got those pictures and consistently posted stuff that fit like this brand that I wanted to build, that it would pay off. And then it just kind of like started to snowball after that. Each year, the projects got a little bit bigger and a little bit cooler. Our social media stuff grew, so we were getting more leads, which meant I could turn away more projects, because we've always been, in that, I'd say 8 to 15 projects a year. So the more leads that came in, it just meant that I could be more selective with the stuff that we wanted to do. So yeah, it just kind of really social media, I think, was the biggest thing.
And was there any particular post or anything, or it's just been a slow, gradual build?
For the most part, it's been like almost 7 years now. So I started with Instagram and Facebook for the most part, and it was mostly just slow and steady. The biggest thing that like took us to the next level initially way back was once I started doing time-lapse videos of the projects. We still didn't have like a bunch of followers or anything like that, but when I would post them on Facebook or Instagram, it was getting us a lot of local leads. Like a lot of the estimates that I would go on, they'd say, I saw the time-lapse videos that you did, and it was so cool to see a whole project start to finish. And now we're just, I'd say in the past like year or 2 years with YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, now you can really see almost all of our growth is based on a few viral videos. So we have a YouTube video that has like 7.5 million views now, and that we probably at least, I forget the last time I checked, I think it's close to 30,000 subscribers just from that one video. So we kind of like, now we see on a bigger scale, like it's these, every video plays like a little bit of a part, but you get those few videos, every month, couple months that really push you over the edge, and you see that's where most of the growth is coming from.
Is there anything about that video that stands out above the others?
It was a really, really cool project. I was like so happy that one, that's our best performing YouTube video. Not by far, but by a pretty good amount. And it was also the biggest project we had done to date. So it was really satisfying that like it was such a big project for us to take on, and so many challenges and just so much going on with it, that it was like, thank God that this project that was like so taxing on us, it just took off. So it had a cool thumbnail, cool after shot for the video, and I think a lot of it's just luck and timing with which videos happen to do really well. So I don't know, we're trying to recreate it all the time to get the next one to get to that, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that time lapses do well, because I've had an Instagram reel of mine that's gone insanely more than others, and it's a time lapse. So most of mine might get between 3 and 10,000 views. This one's gone 500,000. It's just there's nothing that exciting about it, but time lapse. So people must enjoy watching them. Yeah,
it's amazing because, and I tell people this all the time that want to get into like creating content or starting a YouTube channel or just doing more on Instagram and TikTok. The time lapses are still our best performing content that we do, and they're by far the easiest to make. So I think it's something that anybody can jump into. We do it with a GoPro. We plug it into a battery, set it up on top of a ladder, move it around the job site depending on what we're doing, and then it takes maybe an hour or two at the end of a project to just edit all that footage together, set it to some music, and those videos do super well, as opposed to the vlog style videos, which are really to a much more targeted audience. Like it's the people that really want to know the technical installation stuff. Those probably take easily 10 times as much effort and time to produce. And I think our best vlog style video maybe has like 1.5 million views on YouTube. So the time lapses do better, and they're so much easier to make. So it's a really good like first step for people that want to make more content and get out there more.
So how many hours do you reckon you were doing a week or a day back in there when you were building the YouTube and still working as well?
So I'd say right now we're probably spending the most time on it than well, it's almost hard to like really even remember how time consuming it's been up to this point. Cause I would say the first year that we started really jumping into YouTube was 2019. And I decided that year I wanted to kind of shift the business and do more video content. So that's when I started really investing time into YouTube. And from a couple time lapses I'd put up, we had maybe 1,000 subscribers at that point. So I did like 100 videos that year. Only got up to about 3,000 subscribers, but that was probably the most time that I put into it, because I was on site every day filming everything, and then I was editing everything off site at my house, just all night, wake up early, edit. And at that point I just thought, this is really fun. This is a completely normal way to live your life. Just go to work, edit videos all night. And I spent so much time that first year. We're still spending a ton of time, but I'm able to do some of it on site. So we have that mobile office that we can edit stuff in. So I'm split between having the tools on and being in the van doing office work, editing. But I'd say each YouTube video just on editing alone takes at least 5 or 6 hours of editing. And that's after we've already gotten all the footage, which slows things down on the site. So it's hard to even quantify how much time we spend on it, but we have fun doing it. So I think it's a win, and it's led to some pretty cool opportunities for us.
Yeah, seems like it's paying off. You mentioned the mobile command center, which I think is an amazing idea. Every now and then I'll take a desk and a chair, like a fold out desk and chair to site, so that I can do stuff on my computer and then if the guys have questions, I can still kind of do a bit of both. And you've gone next level, and you've actually got a whole van that does that.
Yep. Yeah. So I used to do that. We would set up like a collapsible tent, awning kind of thing on site. And I would set up with my computer on site and sit under there and work on whatever. But we kept breaking the tents because we didn't take them down correctly. So, a storm would come through and destroy it in somebody's backyard, and then we'd be back to square one. So the mobile command center just kind of started as kind of like a crazy, like almost joke. So I hired Catherine, and she is kind of taking over a lot of the social media stuff, a lot of our content, office stuff, dealing with clients, like just kind of a little bit of everything. She's also out on site building with us too. So it just seemed like it was going to be a lot more efficient if she was on site all the time with us. So we were just kind of talking, and I was like, yeah, we should get like an RV or something that we can have an office in and bring it to site. And then she was like, are you serious? And I was like, I think so. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea. And it kind of was, I just kind of threw it out there as almost a joke, and then started thinking about it like, that would actually be perfect for us. It's exactly what we need. And then less than a week later, I bought the van. And then another week or two, we had completely renovated it, and it is one of the best purchases that we've made. Definitely not a fit for every business, but for us, we have a very unique business model where I need to be on site. She needs to be on site, but we also have a lot of office work to do. So it's been amazing to have it.
Yeah. So with all the work that you got booked in, have you been tempted to put on a lot more staff? Because like you could definitely support it with the work that's coming in, but that's a balance.
Yeah. That hasn't been really a direction that I want to pursue too much. We definitely would have the leads to do it. I think even with telling people we're booked out till next year, and knowing it says on our website how much our projects cost. I think we have over 40 people on our wait list for next year that they want us to reach back out to them in the fall. So it's crazy how many leads that we're getting right now, but I don't think that style business, like building on volume, it's not really the things that I'm very good at. I think the bigger that you get, the more organized you need to be, the more you really have to have systems dialed in so that everything can kind of run without your oversight. And not only am I not really, naturally inclined to do those types of tasks, it's also not what I'm interested in. Like, I want to be on site. I want to be a part of the creative process with the design, and then be on site to, build some of the stuff and just make creative changes along the way. And it's just a really fun work environment that we have right now. So we're trying to kind of scale the content side of it and gain more of a footprint online, and we can expand our business that way, because I don't know how good we would be if we expanded. And I think for sure I would be having a lot less fun doing that. So
yeah, because you start business to do the work yourself. You don't start you're not there just to complete people's patios.
Yeah.
You actually want to do it and be involved in
Yeah.
it. And there's no way that the quality would stay the same. The bigger
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah.
What's the staff issues like in North America? Like, it's down in Australia, there's around the COVID times, as people struggle getting staff for every industry, basically. So are you having those same issues? Like, you seem like you got a pretty good crew.
We do. We've been very fortunate. So a lot of every business around here is looking for help, is looking for employees. I think that's another really big benefit for us, is that we are small. So we're not trying to staff 100 people. It's just a couple people on the crew. And I think I treat them really well. It's a fun work environment. They get paid well, they get benefits, all of that stuff. So we've been really fortunate to have really low turnover. Two of our kind of people that have been with me for a good amount of time left this past year. One was Pat, and that was never really his passion. So I knew it was coming eventually, that he was gonna want to do something else. So couldn't blame him. And our other guy, Josh, he ended up leaving in January because he's young. He's like 23. He wanted to learn more aspects of construction, so he's working for a general contractor. And luckily, with our footprint online, we've been able to get a ton of resumes when we needed to replace those people, and it's been great. So I think in all, I've probably had a total of like 8 or 9 employees over the course of 7 years, and right now I have 4 of them on site. So not a lot of turnover, which has been good.
So where'd you get Anthony from? Because he seems like the gun.
Yeah, he is. He's the best. He's a gift from God every day to us. He reached out through Instagram. He's been building for close to 20 years almost now, 17, 18 years. And he was looking for a little bit of a change of pace with what he was doing previously. He was also working pretty far away from home. So he reached out to me about a little over 2 years ago, and he wasn't really in a rush to leave his current job. He was just kind of testing the waters, and it was going to be a big move for me to hire somebody like him. So we met up a couple times, just kind of talked, and it ended up, seeming like a good idea for both of us at the time. And it's been the best thing for us to have him and his skill set. And it's taken all of our projects to a whole nother level.
Mm. And hiring Catherine as well. What was the thought process behind that? So that you could do more on site, or just
a little bit. So my goal is kind of to be on the tools about 50% of the time. Right now, it's probably about 20% of the time. And I started the YouTube stuff really heavy in 2019. And last year, I felt like I'd kind of done everything that I could do alone to take it this far. To take it anywhere beyond that, I needed some more support on that side. So I knew that position was something that I needed. I needed help, just organizing the back end of the business with the process behind the jobs, plus strategizing for our content and our social media strategy and YouTube. So we just kind of got to a point where I knew I needed somebody to take it to the next level. And she is somebody I've known since high school. She's like best friends with my wife. I'm like best friends with her husband. And it just seemed like a good fit. And everybody on our team is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. We're all doing a little bit of everything, and she's really good at all the little things that we need. So that also has been just a great hire for us.
Yeah, I reckon it's a great idea. Even someone who doesn't like, if someone's thinking of putting on a Catherine and they don't have enough, full time to do it, full time work for her to do, the fact that you're getting her that she's working on site as well, that she can help out. So it's it helps in both regards.
Yeah, you have to find the right person that's willing to, do whatever it takes. So luckily she wants to be out there to like really learn the ins and outs of what we do. So she doesn't mind being out there doing whatever we need, which is great. And she's so much more organized than me, so she can take care of putting some more processes in place. And then it's just another person, another mind to be strategizing with me, because we want to grow all of our social channels a lot more in the future. And a lot of that is just sitting back and kind of analyzing what worked, what can we do more of, what direction do we need to go. So it's been great for us. And you can always start with somebody part-time and try to find that person that has a good attitude and is going to be willing to help out wherever you need them that day.
And it'd be pretty satisfying for her or someone like her to help grow the business as well. So they're coming in, you've got 10,000 followers and build it up to whatever it goes to. That'd be cool part of that.
Exactly.
So part of that strategy, I assume you've just you're about 16 episodes in now to your podcast. And what I love about yours is it's like with mine, I just talk to people randomly, but yours seems quite a lot more educational. So I don't know if that's a deliberate way to go about it, but like some of the episodes are about social media, networking, and pre-qualifying. But then you've also got a couple, like when there's one talking about mistakes, and there's a really good one about mental health as well.
Yeah.
So where'd the idea for that come from?
So it's I'm honored that you said it was educational, because I thought it was kind of a we want to go with the vibe that it's like, I don't know how much like really impactful stuff we can share. We don't have all the answers. So, we wanted to create it so that it's kind of like, hey, we'll throw out whatever insight we do have, but also just kind of keep it light and conversational and just maybe get the questions out there that people can ask themselves, because we definitely don't have all the answers. So to hear that it's educational is, I guess we're doing okay. So it's just something that I wanted to do a podcast. I think there's so much more value in these long format conversations where the really impactful, like valuable stuff comes not pre-planned. It's not something that you write down an answer. It's something that just naturally comes out through conversation. So I always wanted to do a podcast, but I wanted to do it in person with people. And that got really hard with COVID and everything. And so once Catherine came on, she kind of, is a good co-host where we can just have a back and forth conversation. And it just kind of, especially once we had the mobile command center, then we had a podcast studio. So it worked out, and we just kind of keep it light, and not sure where it's going to go from here, but we just want to kind of have people, enjoy listening to it. We'll try to bring as much insight as we can, but we definitely don't want to come across like we have all the answers, because we're figuring a lot of this out for ourselves as we go. But it's been helpful for us. We've kind of learned from it through conversation, so hopefully other people can as well.
I'd imagine you'll be getting a fair bit of positive feedback about it as well.
We have, yeah, and it's amazing to hear feedback on the podcast, because it's not like Instagram where you can see somebody's comment and then you can go to their profile and you can see who it is. With podcasting, it's just out there. We can see the statistics of how many downloads and stuff, but it's not like, oh, this person listened to it. So we were just at a trade show last week, and we had quite a few people come up to us and say, hey, I love the podcast. Like, I've been listening every week. And I'm like, that's really cool. I mean, we can see how many people are listening to it, but it's just a little different to have it really connect with somebody that's there. And to have somebody listen to just audio for an entire hour is pretty cool. I mean, I feel like that's hard to do. It's hard to get people's attention for an hour.
Yeah, when I first started doing it, I was surprised. I thought there'd be a lot more downloads than what there was, but then when you think about it, it's a lot more of a deeper thing. They're not just scrolling through, so that a view is just scrolling past it. Actually, sitting there listening to it. So it's more quality over quantity.
Yeah, it's and I kind of look at it like we have all these different kind of pieces of content for people if they want it. So we have just the short stuff on Instagram. If you like what we do and just have a passing interest in it, you can follow us on Instagram, and you can see, our longest videos on there are like 30 seconds. So you can see the finished pictures. You can see just a little bit. If you're a little bit more interested in it and want to see behind, what's the thinking and the process behind everything, you can watch a 10-minute or 15-minute YouTube video about the project. And then if you really want to learn about the business side and really have kind of like a deeper connection with what's going on in our heads, then you can listen to a 1-hour audio only thing. So it's definitely a more targeted audience for a podcast, but I think it's so much more impactful for the people that do listen. So obviously we're getting way less downloads on our podcast than we get views on YouTube, but I think it's a little bit more impactful, the people that we do get to the podcast.
Yeah. So what's coming up in the future for the business? Have we got any exciting projects that you can't wait to start, or does Catherine not tell you about them until you're about to start?
So we have this whole year sold out, and we have some really, really cool projects coming up this year that I'm really excited about. I think we built our first roof structure like 2 years ago, and now almost every single project this year includes like a really big structure aspect of it. So we've kind of taken it in the last couple years from mostly just pretty simple, at least structurally, decks and patios, to now we have some really big projects which are going to be really cool to see come to fruition, but are also like a huge challenge because we're not we've got quite a few larger projects under our belt now, but by no means is it a walk in the park for us yet. So it's going to be a really interesting, fun year.
And with the amount of followers you've got on all the different platforms, you're getting a few suppliers that you're working with. Okay, are there many that you're knocking back? If they're not the type of supplier that you'd want to normally use?
Knocking back as far as like
if
partners that approach us, or so we've had, now that we've really grown, especially with YouTube. Like I said, we started that trying to think, it's 2022, so about 3 years ago we started the vlog on YouTube, and started with about 1,000 subscribers at that point. Got to about 3,000 after the first year. The next year got to about 70,000, and now we're a year later just about to hit 200,000 subscribers on there. So with that growth, that's really what's gotten us a lot more inquiries as far as brands that want to partner with us, and people want us to do reviews of some stuff that kind of fits what we do, and then other just completely random stuff like, hey, I saw your YouTube channel, do you want to review our vacuum cleaner? And it's like, that's not really gonna yeah that's like not really gonna fit with our audience. So we're kind of in a position now where whatever partnerships we have in place now, we have options. So it's really important to us that any partnerships that we do take on, and if we are representing a product or a brand, we want to make sure that it's something that we really believe in, because not only is it a huge knock to your credibility and authenticity if you're just out there promoting products that are junk, we're also playing kind of a long game here. I'm still fairly young, so I've got a long while to go in this. So the authenticity is really important to me. And also, I don't feel like we have to jump at the first offer if it's something new, a new product that we're pursuing. I think that we have options. So we actually turned down a lot of partnerships in the beginning because we didn't feel like it was the right fit, and we felt like, if it's cool that we're getting interest early on, but if we stick with what we're doing, that's just saying that we're on the right track, and other opportunities are going to come up later that are going to be a better fit. So it's always paid off to wait it out for the right opportunity. And we also don't want to represent too many different brands or products, because then I think the message just gets diluted, and we want the main focus to be on what we do, and not, what product or tool or clothes or anything like that. We don't want that to be the main message. We want our work to kind of lead the way.
That's why you haven't had I don't think you got any ads on your podcast, do you?
No, we don't. So I don't even know where to go with that, because it's such a new thing. So I feel like if we did get sponsors on the podcast right now with just getting started, it almost like wouldn't really be worth it. I think hopefully down the road we continue to grow it, and it can be a good source of revenue for us. But I would rather wait till we build up the podcast to a point where it's really worth something to somebody to partner with, instead of just get a couple bucks here and there for a little partnership. So yeah.
And what is your tool brand that you use as well? Like, are you Makita or Milwaukee?
So we use a little bit of everything now. I've always had DeWalt tools, just because I guess I probably bought a drill at some point, and it's all about what batteries you have, and the batteries are so expensive. So now I just have so many DeWalt batteries. So I mostly have DeWalt tools. But Anthony likes Makita, so he has all Makita tools. And then we've started to use a couple Metabo tools. We have their cordless nailer, which we really like, and their triple hammer impact. So in the last like this year, we pretty much have like 3 or 4 brands of batteries charging on site all the time because we've started to like certain tools from certain brands a little bit better. So I don't think there is like one brand that makes the best tool for everything. So, we mix it up for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All of mine is Makita, and it's just too hard to go with anything else.
Yeah. Once you have the batteries, I feel like it should be a crime like all the batteries should be universal because that's how they get you. They get you with some package deal that you buy first, and you're like, well, I have 4 batteries, so I might as well just buy the next 50 tools I buy. Might as well be Makita because I have 4 batteries. So, but now I'm so stuck. It would cost me probably $5,000 to get all the DeWalt batteries that I have to switch to another platform. So we're just gonna ride it out.
All right, Sean, thank you so much for coming on and giving up the time today.
Yeah,
really, really appreciate it, and love what you're doing. So keep it up.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Joel. It was a good time, and maybe next time I'll get out to Australia and we'll do it in person.
Yeah, sounds good.